for a potentially precedent-setting legal challenge. It's set to open today in the Supreme Court of Newfoundland and Labrador. The case is over rules for membership in the Qalipu Mi'kmaq First Nation. Mark Quinn in St. John's, he's outside the courthouse and he's live on the story. Tell us about this case, Mark, if you would, first of all.
Certainly. In general, it's a case about identity, and specifically, it's a case about who's a member of the Qalipu Mi'kmaq Nation and who isn't. There's a group called the Federation of Newfoundland Indians. They've been fighting for status for the Mi'kmaq here in Newfoundland for more than 50 years. In 2011, they reached an agreement. They created a band called the Qalipu First Nation. After that, there was a long, contentious fight, which has been ongoing more than 10 years, to establish who actually is a member. Initially, the members of the Federation of Newfoundland Indians were made members. After that, the enrollment was open to anyone who identified as a Mi'kmaq in Newfoundland and Labrador. They expected between 10 and 20,000 people would apply. They received more than 100,000 applications. When that happened, they realized they had to do something to restrict membership. What happened then was there was an agreement between the Federation of Newfoundland Indians and the federal government to increase the criteria. They made it more difficult to become a member. In the end, only 20,000 people were actually accepted. This was really traumatic for some people. It split up families. Some people lost their Indian status. One brother was accepted, another brother wasn't. Children were accepted, one wasn't, another one wasn't. So families were split up by this, and it caused a lot of strife here in Newfoundland and Labrador, and it's ongoing. And it led to this case where people here today are saying that the process that was used to determine who's a member must be struck down. Heather?
Mark, we understand this is a case that'll probably play out over the next 3 weeks. What exactly are the plaintiffs seeking in this?
What they're looking for is this agreement that was made in 2013 called the Supplemental Agreement, which changed the criteria for who became a member of this Qalipu band to be struck down. They want it thrown out. They want to start all over again. Now, that process and that criteria that'll be new if this case is successful will have to be established. That might take some time. We're probably looking at maybe years before we actually have a list of who is a member of the Qalipu Nation and who isn't. Heather?
Mark, good to see you. Thank you very much for reporting for us this morning. Mark Quinn, who's live just outside the courthouse there in St. John's.